Listen to this. It's a game changer when you're speaking about your faith to people. If someone asks you a question about your faith or puts an argument against Christianity and they don't back it up with evidence, then you don't need to answer them. They're just trying to catch you out. Why? Check it out right here, right now. Hi, my name is Dan Beasley and this channel is all about inspiring intentional discipleship, helping you go deeper in your faith and living it out in the world today. And part of living our faith out in the world today is being a disciple and telling people about the good news of Jesus. But how many times and how many people have come up to you and asked you questions that are clearly trying to catch you out about an aspect of your faith that is kind of designed that you kind of think, I really don't know about this. One good one that I've had so many times is, what about dinosaurs in the Bible? And you kind of freak out. You kind of like start going, oh, well, I need to give an answer to this. And either you don't know because it's not something that's kind of on your radar, whether you've researched that, you're not quite sure what they think, or you just don't want to look stupid. Well, in those situations, you can just go, well, what do you think? What have you read? Because I haven't really looked at this, and be quite honest. Also, sometimes if you do know, then just push back, because this tactic is all about pushing back. By the way, if you want to know about dinosaurs in the Bible, I've done a video, you can check that out up here. But this is about people coming at you, asking you questions to try and catch you out about your faith, making you doubt about your faith. And the questions are always about topics that you kind of think that you should know, but you're not quite sure of. Well, understand that these people who are asking your questions are much more well researched than you are. If you're not sure, then they're not fully 100% sure. They might be, but who really knows about dinosaurs in the Bible? Who really knows about specific things? So what you need to do is that you put it back to them and you say something like I just said, yeah, well, I'm not really sure on that. So tell me, where did you get that? And what have you found out? So, let's go with the dinosaurs in the Bible. So how many dinosaurs stories are there in the Bible? Which books are they in? Start pushing back. How did they affect the Christian faith? Because if they're there, what was the interaction between the people? Push back, and what you probably soon find is they'll be going, I'm not quite sure as well, because most of the time, again, in my experience, not first-hand knowledge, not well researched. It's from YouTube, or it's from a book of someone, of Dawkins or someone like that. It's not researched from them. So you're re-establishing boundaries. So you're saying to them, look, I don't need to answer this. I want you to answer this. Even if you know the answer, and this is a hugely important thing, understand what people are doing. They're trying to catch you out. So even if you know the answer, push back and ask them to give you evidence for their answer. Now, some people could say, well, what about 1 Peter 3:15, that we've got to give an answer for the hope that we have in Jesus? Yes. But also understand that when people are kind of trying to catch you out or ask you about your faith, they are not listening to you. What they're doing, when they got to ask you about dinosaurs in the Bible, and you're there kind of floundering and going, oh, where are they? And I should know this. And they're asking you more questions like, oh, surely you should know this as a Christian. So you don't know your Bible. You're floundering more. At what point are they open to ask, to hear about the good news of Jesus? They're not, because they're on the attack. They want to disprove your faith to you, or make you doubt some aspect of your faith by re-establishing the boundaries and taking that, like, this power play that they feel that they have away from them, and saying, interesting topic, you tell me what you think and I'll tell you what I think after, and push back on them. Find the thread of their loose end, because there will be many loose ends, and start tugging at it. After a certain while, they'll start floundering, because obviously if they're not well researched, then then you can pull it. If they are, then you're going to look. You're going to find out something. So don't think this is a bad thing. If they're well researched, you know next time that exactly when they look at dinosaurs in the Bible or something like that, or someone comes up to ask you these common questions, you have that knowledge. So don't see it as a bad thing if someone does get the one up on you, because you can write it down and then teach yourself so you don't come up against that again. But that's very, very rare. I never really find that. Start pushing back, and once they start floundering, then they're more open to hear. And if you have got a bit of knowledge and you say, well, actually there's only these references to dinosaurs in the Bible, and actually dinosaurs in the Bible isn't about dinosaurs. The Bible's about the salvation of man, and that story of the fall and redemption, so you can start giving them back the good news, that the hope that you have, and then they are actually listening. Because at the start, I tell you, they're not listening. Their mind's working 1,000 miles an hour. Re-establish the boundaries, put it back on them, get them to give you the answers. Now, if in your conversations and your arguments with them, and I'm not talking arguments, I'm talking like debating arguments, that you put forward a premise, or you put forward a claim, or something that has to have evidence, then you then enter into that as well. You have to give evidence for that. So if you start claiming things, you have to back that with evidence, because you can't treat them one way and then not do it yourself. So the trick is to try and stand back and not get into that at the start. If people are asking you questions, let them ask, but kind of keep pushing it back on them. An interesting question. So where did you find that? Interesting question. So what do you think? How do you think that changes Christian faith? So interesting question. So why isn't this a big thing in the church today? Why aren't people speaking about that? Why are you speaking about that? Why aren't Christians? Ask them lots of questions. Try not to get into that argument, but if you have to, or when the time is right, you then have to back up your claims with evidence, because it's all about evidence, isn't it? It's about evidence that this is real, evidence that they can go check themselves. Remember, they're not Christian, so if you give them something that they go check themselves, then that helps in their journey to become to faith. But it's all about flipping it round on them. So if someone comes up to you in the future and asks you what you perceive as a difficult question, and I should know this, breathe, stop, and think first. I'm going to put this back on you, and I am going to ask you questions. And if you're not quite sure of the answer, by putting it back on them, it helps kind of deflect in a way, because what happens is, as they start speaking, then your mind is going 1,000 miles an hour. You're thinking of the next question. You're pulling at the threads of their argument as it starts coming apart. Take control. See way too many times that Christians fall into the trap, and I have so many times as well, of answering these silly questions. They're not going to come to faith of it. They're just trying to catch us out. By taking control back, you can take control of the conversation and lead it to where you want to lead it, which is talk about the good and great hope that we have in Jesus, and the reason for that. Saying, you know what, even if there's, again, example, dinosaurs in the Bible, and dinosaurs were all over every single page, it doesn't change my faith in Jesus Christ, who he is, what he's done for us. You see, you're taking control of the argument. You're not on the back foot. So what, in that sense, what do you do when people ask you difficult questions or try to catch you out? What's your tactic? Because this is all about helping us as Christians to developing our faith and, in a sense, get more weapons for our arsenal. So as people come and try to challenge us, we can actually diffuse them to be able to give them good news. What do you use? How do you engage with people? Write it in the comments below so we can grow as a community and of believers. Like this video and share it so more people can see it. Subscribe to the channel so you can get more content and go deeper in your faith every day with God. And I will see you soon. Enjoy now answering those questions in a brand new way. It's so much fun actually doing it that way. Bye.